call on the ice stands. We gotta go!
Up the colors. We are set to go.
Let's roll, boys! Come on, let's get going!
We are kicking.
Here we go! Both guys, 5 minutes each for fighting! Watch the blue! Play the puck! We're not doing this! Hey!
After further review, it's the Scouting the Refs podcast.
Yeah, baby!
Here's your hosts, Todd Lewis and Josh Smith.
Okay, gentlemen, play ball. Let's go!
All right, guys, let's drop the puck.
It's the preseason, it's training camp, this is the time of personnel moves, and it's the same in terms of the officials, too. There are referees and lineys who haven't made it onto the ice yet. There are promotions that have still just been announced. So there's a lot of things happening in the world of officiating, not just in the NHL, Josh.
You've got to update your scorecards. The officials need to know who's on the ice. All the guys change teams. And we have to do it here to get used to the new names, the new numbers, the new guys that are out there. So yes, we're in that feeling out process of learning all the names and getting it straight before the puck drops for real.
This is the Scouting the Refs podcast. Don't forget, you can follow Josh and me on all the social platforms. Josh is at Scouting the Refs. I'm at Todd Lewis Sports on all of the major social platforms. And we will tell you as well, Edmonton Oiler fans, it is cruise time next July 17th to the 24th. It is the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise 2026. Big names such as Jason Strudwick, Bill Ranford, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Kelly Buckberger, and Louis DeBrusque, meet and greets, Q&A panels, autographs, and sessions. A $500 deposit secures your spot and your cabin for next summer. Use the code REFS 2026, REFS 2026. Get $100 off per person. Josh, I am pretty sure that all those guys will be doing a version of the theme from the Ludboat with 7-part harmony as well.
Well, you know what? When you've got the free buffet and you've got the bar right there and the sun's going down, everybody's on deck, you never know what can happen. You might have a hockey game break out, you might have a fight, or you might have just spontaneous karaoke moments.
Could be all of the above. Coming up on this week's edition of the Scouting the Refs podcast, flying high. Was that a goal? High sticks are good. Promotions announced and a good old-fashioned line brawl. I'm going to save that one till later. I do want to talk about some of the promotions, though, because there are officials that are moving up in the ranks from the ECHL to the AHL and taking on a new position. Riley Yurkovich gets the new position as the AHL Director of Officiating, and Casey Terreri takes over his former position.
Yeah, it's interesting. We always talk about the officials moving, right? And you get that progression, typically NAHL, USHL, and you've got the ECHL guys. They work their way up to the AHL and then to the NHL level. And it's a logical progression, right? As the players advance, the officials advance, and so do the managers. So you get a guy like Casey Terreri who's stepping in to fill that spot in the ECHL that is created by the void from Riley Yurkovich moving up to the AHL level, where he's now the new Director of Officiating and Player Safety. So important roles for these guys, both long-time officials in the leagues, the AHL, ECHL. So nice to see some guys in stripes earning those promotions, earning those office gigs, and keeping an eye on things, keeping guys honest. So nice to have some good folks in there and working their way up the ladder as well, not only on the ice as officials, but to see these guys do it on the management side.
We have mentioned the promotions and new hires last week on our Scouting the Refs podcast. You can check out some of the promotions, names, and number changes on the website as well, scoutingtherefs.com. And as we move our way through the preseason now, we are checking the lineup cards every night because the lineups vary from team to team. And it is the same with the officials. There are a few refs and a few linespersons who have yet to hit the ice in the preseason.
Yeah, it's fun to keep tabs on them, and you see who's working games, who's not. We've got all the new guys who have debuted, so not their official first game as National Hockey League officials, but September 21st was a big day. Referee Ben Betker, Dylan Blugis, Sean Oliver, and Jeremy Fauché on the lines, all making their unofficial league debuts, their first time taking the ice with the NHL crest here. So congratulations to them. That's an exciting moment. They've all worked a handful of games since. But to me, Todd, the interesting ones, like you mentioned, are the guys who haven't taken the ice yet. Referee Steve Kozari has yet to work a preseason game. He was injured last season, missed some time. So did linesperson Shandor Alphonso and Bryan Pancich. They were both injured in the playoffs. You remember the Alphonso injury resulted in Wes McCauley working as a linesman for the day. So Alphonso and Pancich, I know they're working their way back from recovering from those injuries, but have yet to take the ice in the preseason. So maybe just taking a little bit longer. we kind of expected it for them. And even Kozari, we knew that there was an injury there. But the other guys that I'm hoping we'll see in action soon, referee Francis Charon, John McIsaac, and Francois St. Laurent yet to work a game. And then on the lines, Ryan Daisy and Dan Kelly yet to take the ice. So we'll be keeping an eye. Hopefully there's no injuries, there's no issues, there's nothing else keeping these guys from working games. But got to keep an eye on it. Got to see how your prospects are doing, how your teams are doing, how the lineups are shaking up for the players. And we've got to do the same thing for the Stripes.
Is this maybe just a case of, well, they're veterans, they know when they're in shape and when they're ready, they cut them a little more slack, much like they do with players on teams?
To a certain extent, yes. I mean, the younger guys are working more games in the preseason, and that's to be expected, especially some of the newer officials or the guys who were new last season. And we've seen them work with veteran guys. Kelly Sutherland, longtime vet, working with Liam Maskant, who was hired last season. Grady Hamilton with Kyle Raymond. So we've seen them pair up, but it is true that the younger guys are getting the bulk of the work here. So you're seeing the guys hired last year, the guys splitting time AHL, NHL. They've all got to get some preseason action in. So I'm not too concerned that we won't see these guys, whether it's just something small or whether it's just scheduling and timing. There's a lot of locality too, or regionality where, look, we know during the regular season, the lines and the refs, they pair up for a game and then they go their separate ways and work with new partners and travel all around the country. They're constantly traveling and flying around. Preseason, not as much. We're seeing guys stay a bit local, so close to their home bases a bit more. So you see more pairings where Maskant and Sutherland have worked multiple games together here. So I don't think it's anything we need to be too concerned with for these guys, but you're absolutely right. You want the younger guys to get their reps in now while the games are still preseason before they actually count. But I would expect that we would see everybody on the ice before the puck drops.
We have seen plenty of action on the ice, and some players are already in mid-season form. I will refer you to the New York Rangers and New Jersey Devils opening night game, I believe it was. And, well, it's Devils, it's Rangers, it's kind of a rivalry game, even whether it's exhibition, preseason, or whatever you want to call it. But Brennan Othmann, a drive-by elbow to the chops for the Devils defenseman Calen Addison. That's mid-season form. That full marks for that elbow to the chops.
That's a hit, man. He got the 5 for elbowing off, and that's an ejection as well. Mandatory when you've got the 5 for elbowing there. It's not one of those situations where we're looking at it in the preseason, but we certainly would have been taking a second look at a regular season game. And speaking of that second look, NHL Player Safety did, and they decided that this was not worthy of a suspension. So no suspension, no fine. I actually thought for sure, Todd, that we would be seeing maybe a game here, a preseason game, to send a message just to remind folks that you can't do this. And I don't care if you want to nitpick about it. I'm looking at it there. He raises his arm up. The elbow comes up. Is it the elbow to the jaw? Is it the shoulder to the head? I mean, I could have seen this as an illegal check to the head. I could have seen this as elbowing. Whichever way you want to go, the outcome's the same. It's a headshot, and I actually thought it was deserving of a one-gamer here. I mean, you don't want to let these guys get away with stuff, and you've got rookies and young players trying to have an impact, dropping the gloves, setting the tone, high, big hits like this, and it's illegal. However you want to call it, this is an illegal hit, and I actually thought we were going to see a one game.
Yes, this is making an impact to the head of Calen Addison by Brennan Othmann, and the phrase, "This is not a hockey play," comes to mind here, or an illegal check to the head, as you say. And you're right. This is basically saying, well, you know what, we're going to let this go, and if we see this in the regular season, I guess there's no reason to expect that it would be a suspension.
Yeah, and it should be. The regular season games are worth more, and we're talking about the hit itself, but it's not even a legal hit to begin with. He never plays the puck. He's going to, but he doesn't play the puck at that point. He's not eligible to be checked on the play. And I mean, Othmann almost takes out his teammate there with this hit. You can watch the helmet go into his teammate's jaw, and everybody's getting knocked out like dominoes here. So the hit was illegal in the first place, and the way he delivered it was illegal. And if you want to pull the player safety language, he had the opportunity to deliver a clean body check by delivering a hit through his opponent's core, and instead chose a path that resulted in direct contact with the player's head. See, Todd, I'm brushing up. I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go. You're in mid-season form, Josh, clearly. Okay, let's move away from the NHL for just a second. I'm intrigued to follow the progress of the Western Collegiate Hockey League, the WCHA, as they are trying something different this season. Players are allowed to play the puck and score a goal with their sticks at any height. Doesn't matter, unlimited high sticking. You can play the puck with your stick at any height. Loose pucks, take a swing. I'm intrigued to see how this goes. I guess it certainly makes the ruling of whether or not the puck was played with a high stick moot for at least the time being. I don't know if this is a good thing or not.
I'm curious to see. I mean, one thing to note that in college hockey, we're looking at full face protection here. So we're not going to have players getting clipped in the mouth like we would in the NHL, where you've got guys with visors, and it's a little more potential for injury there. So I think that is probably a factor. But man, they are going for it. This is not a loosening of the rule. This isn't allowing a little more leeway. This is just high sticks everywhere. So I am really curious to see, I mean, how it goes when the season starts, but then as it moves along and players get used to the idea that they can keep their sticks up, you're batting pucks out of the air and you're being a little more reckless with your stick. Are we going to see more penalties? Because the penalty will still be called if you contact an opponent. You're just not getting the whistle to stop play when you hit a puck that's above the shoulders. And I, as you mentioned, scoring goals with a high stick, I can't imagine that we're not going to see more offensive high sticking penalties as players try to get their sticks up to deflect and catch somebody else in the chop. So I'm really curious to see how this works. I applaud them for doing it. You know, we saw the WHL allow kicked in goals seasons back and have been perfectly successful with it. Haven't had any disastrous situations. I think they're a good argument for allowing pucks to be kicked outside of the goal crease. They don't allow kicks in the blue paint. So everyone will be watching the WCHA this season, and it is a trial run. It's an experimental rule change, not something that they've committed to beyond this season, but it will be interesting to see as the players adapt, as their behavior changes, to realize that they can play the stick whatever height, and they can deflect a puck that's above head height and tip it into the net, and it's going to count. So hey, easier to review it because you're not checking for the high stick, but will there be any other implications? I can't wait to see how it looks on the ice.
Yeah, deflecting is one thing. Swinging to make contact is going to be quite another, and I think that's where the trouble might come in.
Hey, you're going to see baseball-style swings from the defensive zone. If you can keep it on the ice and not out of play and not hit somebody in the face, maybe we'll have some new skill sets these guys will be working on.
Yeah, it'll just be whether it was a goal or wasn't it a goal. And that was the question with the Washington Capitals, who scored a goal in the preseason.
Did they score?
But apparently no one saw it go in the net.
It went in. I promise it went in. It crossed the line. We can see that it crossed the line, but we have the benefit of video review to see that it crossed the line. Referee Bo Halkitis down there in the corner, Brandon Blandina up high, even Tommy Hughes and Ryan Jackson on the lines didn't have a better view than that, and they didn't get to go to the Situation Room, Todd. The Situation Room might be getting ready for the start of the NHL season, but they are not taking preseason reps because they were not available, and they are not available to review plays like this. They can't buzz down to say that the puck went in when we all know that it did. Everybody knew that it did. We saw it went in. The Caps bench saw that it went in. And poor Iorio, he's watching the play. He figures the officials are going to discuss it. One of these four guys had to see that puck crossed the line, but nope. Bo Halkitis delivers the news, much to his surprise.
So much like calling technical support or customer service, the Situation Room is not taking your calls this time, or we have a backlog and it may be a long time before your call is answered.
Please hold. Your call will be answered in 11 days.
And on opening night. Okay. All right. So we promised the best for last, and well, it was a good old-fashioned line brawl between Sherbrooke and the Quebec Remparts last week. If you haven't seen one for a while, well, you can show you the video that you can see everyone on the ice becomes engaged. And I'm really not sure what started this. Everything seemed to be going along okay for a while, and then it just sort of a little bump here, a little bump there, and it all erupts and all hell breaks loose.
It's like one of those situations, teams on the power play, they're trying to score. So maybe there's a little frustration on the ice, but just a little chippiness, a little comment here and there. And all of a sudden, 2 guys are shoving, 4 guys are shoving. Then everybody starts dropping the gloves. And remember, Todd, fighting has been, I shouldn't say it's been banned in the Q. It has received increased penalties, including an automatic ejection in the Q. So we've seen it decline, but not in this one. 6 fighting majors, 4 for fighting after the original altercation, and those 4 Also got the 1-game suspensions to the players that dropped the gloves after the original altercation. But man, it was old school. And you have the officials out there trying to separate guys, trying to keep things from exploding. And meanwhile, you've got two guys right out by the blue line there, just wailing on each other. And it got ugly. I saw the video clip online and couldn't believe that this was a clip from this season. It looked like we went back 20, 30 years.
Yeah, this was how you say old-time hockey, I think.
Yes.
This is how they put it. And again, suspensions coming for those. But I don't know. Maybe this will deter further infractions with the suspensions. I don't know. But this, as you said, fighting has been illegal for forever in all leagues, but it's just how it's penalized here.
Yeah, and look, we had 60 minutes and penalties coming. At that point, I don't think anybody was too worried about it in the game. The 1-game suspension's a little more impactful. And this is what I think the Q wanted: unnecessary fighting. And you have younger players here, so you certainly don't want kids getting hurt as they're trying to make a name for themselves or trying to build their careers. And it would be the same thing, and we've seen it enforced at the NHL level, where you get that additional penalty for fighting after the original altercation. We'll give you the first fight. Even in the Q, you're getting ejected, but we'll give you the first fight. But after that, that's the stuff that the Q wants to address. That's the stuff that the NHL has moved to address, where when you've got guys dropping the gloves, and yes, we know sometimes the linesmen break them up. You want to see two guys go at it. Sometimes they don't let them. But we definitely don't want to let more fights happen. You don't want to have those secondary, those third fights, everybody on the ice. Although, man, who is turning off the TV when the gloves are flying?
It does get your attention, doesn't it?
Good stuff, man. Way to work.
Get in the box. It's the Scouting the Refs podcast. Read more at scoutingtherefs.com. Follow Scouting the Refs on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Email the show at heyref@scoutingtherefs.com.
Very good, Michael.
Subscribe, share, and keep those sticks down.
Good play.